I saw this show on Netflix. I cannot remember what it's called to save my life, but it was this little boy, and he said, dark matter is just matter that is here but does not exist. So I said to myself, well, that sounds like Black people. We here, but people don't treat us like human. It's almost as if we don't exist. So I came up with the name Black Matter for my show. So my name is Aubrey Williams. I am a theater company owner. I started my theater company about 3 years ago now. Prior to that, I taught 6th through 12th grade theater, and I obviously didn't want to do that anymore. But I did use theater as a way for the youth to kind of escape whatever they were going on at home, and they really loved that, and they really kind of dived into that. So I used that to create my business. From there, I ended up, I was in my master's program while I was teaching these kids. And I told my master's, my professors that I wanted to write a play for my thesis. And they were like, what? You're going to do what? And I ended up doing it. And that particular play actually went into production professionally at the Atlanta Black Theater Festival. That's where we premiered it first as a reading. Nice. And then from there, we've toured. We've done Rochester Fringe Festival. We've done Bronner Brothers. We've done quite a few other places. And we have an event on the 28th that's coming up. Due to COVID, we have to keep it safe. I've had to cancel 2 shows, just for safety reasons and for reasons that were unforeseen. So on the 28th, if you're going to be there in person, we're going to have mimosas. So anybody who comes gets to enjoy a little drink while they watch. And then we're also going to offer a streaming service for those who cannot make it to the program. But Black Matter is about Black taboos. I've always had very unpopular opinions about certain Black rituals, like the Black church, molestation in the Black family, colorism, especially because I'm a brown-skinned girl. I don't consider myself light-skinned. And just some of the things that we're scared to talk about in our own households, like Black on Black crime, but we expect everyone to fix for us. So that's what Black Matter is about. Just discussing those taboos and bringing those taboos to life. And the reason why I got hired at Fox is because one of the executives saw what I was doing with the theater company and what I was doing with Black Matter in this work, and asked me to come and work for them. So now I serve as a senior producer, evaluating films to come on the screening room, which actually premieres February 18th. So in a couple of days. So I'm excited that projects coming up, the screening room and Black Matter.
Nice. So with Black Matter, how will we see that play out? Will it be these scenarios of these taboo events being played out, and then is there some sort of resolution to it afterwards, or how to shift the mindset from seeing these? Like, what will we see happen in the actual event?
I'm not doing it this time, so I'm not really sure what the pattern or the storyline will be. I'm letting Sydney Prather from Tiny Theater Company direct it. But typically, what I want people to get out of this show is life lessons, and to walk away knowing something they didn't before. This play is not a regular play. It's written in vignettes, which means that each piece can be moved around and the play should still make logical sense.
Okay. And I know you touched a little bit on the struggles of working during the pandemic and having to cancel shows, but on the flip side, have you found it nice to still be able to create and still be able to tell these stories during such a difficult time? And then we see all these incidents with Floyd and George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. Is it nice to still be able to get that other side of the story and show the positive of what Black people are doing during such a difficult time like this? Being able to express yourself?
I haven't been able to create. I do theater. I haven't been able to create anything. So my time has been spent evaluating and analyzing, not necessarily creating. I've spent most of my time with Fox, just sort of kind of spinning these things and figuring out how to talk about these things in a way that caters to our community. But in terms of my own theater company, I have not been able to create until recently.
Okay, did you just get started on this maybe like this year or towards the end of last year?
Towards the end of last year, we decided we were going to do it. I wrote a book called Black Matter, which includes some of my experiences while writing the book, as well as some of the things I went through, I guess family-wise, or not but family-wise, that inspired me to create some of the pieces. So we had a reading and everybody really enjoyed the reading. A lot of my audience has seen the play 3 or 4 times just because it's different every time you see it. It's kind of like your Alvin Ailey. So we're gonna start doing it. We've done it so much, I'm actually quite tired of it. We're gonna start doing it every year in February moving forward. So instead of doing it throughout the year and touring, we're going to spend the entire year just sort of mapping out our marketing and just getting everything together for the big show that's gonna happen in February.
What other cities have you all been to? Because you're based in Atlanta, right?
Mm-hmm.
So where else have you, the show?
I've said New Orleans. We've been to New York twice. We've been to, I said it earlier, it was one other state. It was Bronner Brothers. That was in Louisiana. Atlanta Black Theater Festival. That was here. So we've been to 2 or 3 states so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're just gonna really narrow it down to be in February because it's Black History Month?
Yeah. I would tour it, but I just physically do not have the energy to do it. And a lot of people don't like to, well, I'm not gonna say that. It's very hard to find funding for Black art. Black performance art specifically. So if it doesn't come out of my pocket, it doesn't get paid for, and I'm not going to pay $18,000, $19,000, $20,000 to tour a show and not receive profit.
Right, so that's a struggle in its own. You would think that there would be some type of funding or grants for Black organizations or people in film, but
but the struggle because there are so many Black arts organizations that are trying to get those limited amount of funds. So it's very difficult, especially since everyone is fighting towards, those minority funding opportunities.
Okay. And with Fox Soul, I'm curious because that is a Black-owned company, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Has it been easy being able to produce stories that feel authentic to the Black community?
No.
That's honest.
We create our stories.
I'm sorry, say that again.
We create our stories. We have all Black production staff.
Okay, nice. And so looking towards the future, what do you feel like is next for you? Like, do you see Black Matter becoming even bigger of a production? Do you want to expand to doing other things? Or is it really depending on when the pandemic ends?
I'm looking to expand into other things. Black Matter is just going to be my Alvin Ailey every year. That's going to be my Alvin Ailey. I do want to do smaller shows in between. I want to focus my attention on training actors, on developing workshops for those who are in trauma or have been traumatized. So that's what my focus will be moving forward into the next year. As far as Fox Soul is concerned, I'm focused on expanding the project I'm working on now, which is the screening room, maybe developing some more ideas for that. And that's pretty much it. And as far as my personal life, just finding some time to relax. Once we get out of this COVID, I love to travel. So just making sure that I travel as much as I can, hitting all of the hot spots on my bucket list. So when I get back, I can get straight to work.
Right. So if you could describe yourself in 3 words, what would those 3 words be?
I really hate this question because it varies from day to day. I would say spontaneous, creative, and intellectual.
Okay. I like that. Is there anything you feel that you want to be remembered for? Because you have your hands in so many things. You're an author, you produce, you have your company. Is there like one thing that sticks out that you would like to be remembered for most, or everything, or just a powerful Black woman?
One thing I would like to remember for most is my drive for seeing theater come alive. I think theater has always been a safety net for me. So that's something that I want people to remember me by, is providing that safety net, or having that safety net for myself and others.
Okay. And at this point, if you could just tell us where we can, for the people who are in Atlanta, where they can buy tickets, and then for the people who may just want to tune in virtually as well, where they can find tickets for that.
So if you follow, there are 2 different sites, but I know all of my cast and crew members have it in their bios too. If you follow _TheACtivists, which is my company name, is TheACtivists with an S, you can find tickets to the virtual play as well as the general screening. The general screening, we're going to treat you to some mimosas, so if you like mimosas, be free to join us. And then the virtual screening is also an option under there, and then we send you a link for the show. You can also get the tickets under my bio, which is _Master of the Arts. And then I have like a Linktree page, which I know some people find like really annoying, but it's at the top. It should be Black Matter the Play. You click on that and it'll give you the option to do the virtual or the general admission, which is the in-person, which I think is fun anyway, because I hate watching plays through the computer.
Yeah, and then the fact that you all have mimosas, that sounds great. I wish I was in Atlanta right now to come, and you all are so much more open than the rest of the world.
I had to spice it up a little bit to give like people some incentive to come, with being COVID, because we had over 100 people at the book reading, but I'm like, okay, well, 75 of these people already saw the play. And now they're buying a book. So it's just kind of like, I had to give some incentive. So I was like, okay, Sunday brunch, people like mimosas. So
yeah. How many people do you expect to come out?
We're not sure yet. It just depends on what's going on with the health and COVID and the situation that we recently experienced. So we're not sure.
All right, before I let you go, there was a question I wanted to ask you earlier, but I forgot. How did you come up with the name, TheACtivists, for your company?
I do not remember how I came up with that name. I know it was at Bronner Brothers, and I was sitting with Erica Respers, who is the producer of the Bronner Brothers show. And I knew I wanted to do something with social justice. And I knew that I considered myself at the time, because I was in a master's thesis program for African American Studies, and I considered myself an artist activist. So I don't know how I came up with TheACtivists, and I hate that I did, because people split it up into 2 different words, which really grinds my gears. So I don't really know like how the conversation came about. I just know like a little bit of what inspired it, but I know how Black Matter came about, because people like to say Black Lives Matter, and that's not the name of the show. That's not the premise of what this show, it is, but it's not. So right. Black Matter is, if you're into science, which I am most definitely not, I saw this show on Netflix. I cannot remember what it's called to save my life, but it was this little boy, and he said, dark matter is just matter that is here but does not exist. So I said to myself, well, that sounds like Black people. We here, but people don't treat us like human. It's almost as if we don't exist. So I came up with the name Black Matter for my show.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking time to speak with me today.
Here we go again, folks. I'ma show you how to do this, son. Hey. Big things poppin' and little things snappin'. TheACtivists